This is Adelaide's FIVEAA.
Sunny this afternoon, a top of 20 with the 4 o'clock news. I'm Michaela Kamara.
Want pure water? Filter your home for 20% off. Complete homefiltration.com.au.
A number of long COVID clinics are being opened across Adelaide to help people struggling to regain their health. The clinics at the REH, QEH, Flinders and Women's and Children's Hospital will offer specialised treatment. Dr. N.G. Nelson says it takes months for some people to recover.
One of the commonest symptoms is lethargy and tiredness, and with no explanation as to why they can't get back to their normal level of activity. In addition to that, we commonly see people with breathlessness, people who are high achievers, who are very fit prior to this, now finding themselves not being able to climb a flight of stairs.
Marathon runner Anna Liptak's one of them.
It's been a wild 2 years for me since having COVID, but I feel like my health is now back on track. My lungs are scarred. They can't say it's definitely due to COVID, but they can't see any other reason. And my heart's been scarred, probably again from COVID.
Meanwhile, we've recorded 3,683 COVID cases today. That's up around 700 cases on yesterday. 3 women in their 70s, 80s and 90s have died. There are 222 people in hospital, including 6 in ICU, with 1 person on a ventilator. The Prime Minister says it's up to the industrial umpire to decide if the minimum wage should go up and by how much. Labor leader Anthony Albanese would support a wage increase of 5.1% in line with the latest inflation rate, but businesses say that would cripple them. Scott Morrison says any increase would have to be well calibrated by the Fair Work Commission.
And that be independently assessed in a proper process based on all the best facts and information about the economy. That's why that process is in place, and we have always welcomed and accepted the recommendations that have come from that body.
Police are close to identifying the scuba diver found dead near a stash of cocaine in Newcastle waters. The man was spotted floating in the Hunter River and 50 kilograms of the drug was found nearby. Police say he was a foreign national and bought his diving equipment locally. More drugs have been found as officers search a ship. New South Wales Police Commissioner Karen Webb says the smuggling attempt shows how important it is for law enforcement to remain vigilant.
Newcastle's not our only problem. We've certainly got more resources and strike forces in Newcastle all the time to tackle these issues. It's no coincidence perhaps that there's a port in Newcastle. Plenty of work for us to do to investigate that.
The Marcos family again hold power in the Philippines. Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has won the presidential election in a landslide. The Marcos family fled the Philippines after a popular uprising in 1986. Now tuning to 5AA Sport.
Call 131 740 and pay less for any auto part at Hotline Auto Parts. Call today.
The Crows and Port have continued their preparations today ahead of their round 9 matches on the weekend. The Power will consider bringing back key forward Charlie Dixon after he got through his return match with the Magpies in the Sample. Meanwhile, Essendon expects the 5 players who were late withdrawals due to illness last week to be available for selection ahead of Saturday's clash with Sydney. Captain Dyson Heppel says they're all feeling much better.
Yeah, I think we're holding pretty tight at the moment. Yeah, a few boys go down last week, but got them back in and amongst the club now, so they're trying to blow a bit of steam out in the first couple of sessions early in the week, but they should be right to go this week.
Former Australia cricketer Ryan Campbell has been discharged from hospital in England following a cardiac arrest last month. And in the NBA playoffs, the Celtics defeated the Milwaukee Bucks 116-108 in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference semi-finals. Now checking 5AA traffic.
At Eden Hills, got a smash on Shepherd's Hill Road at Wade Streets. In the Parklands, a smash on South Terrace at Sir Lewis Cohen Avenue. And keep your eye out for a burst warning at Northfield, that's Grand Junction Road near Foster's Road. At Noarlunga Centre, twisted traffic lights slowing things up Beach Road near Goldsmith Drive. And look out for a cameras at Lake Haven Road, Dry Creek. Conquer your cravings with a succulent red rooster quarter chicken with deliciously crispy chips for just $5. The Rooster's calling. Get it where you can, while you can. Available till 4 p.m. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Get the Toyota forklift advantage. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Sunny this afternoon, a top of 20. A possible late shower tomorrow, 21. Thursday, possible showers, 20. And Friday, showers continuing, 22. Right now, it's 18 degrees. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News Tonight.
A man in court for indecently assaulting a schoolgirl on an Adelaide bus. The ferocious fire that destroyed a family's haven. How this year's NAPLAN will test the impact of COVID on our kids. The frail Queen to miss another key ceremony. And see the bizarre fish discovered in the deep. See the full story on 9 News tonight at 6.
This is Rowey's Sports Show. Stephen Rowe and Lee Forrest.
Good afternoon, 5 minutes after 4 on this Tuesday. Nice to have your company. 8223 0000 is the number. Get the feeling it might be a nice feisty show this afternoon. Stephen Rowe, welcome.
Thank you, Lee. Just to start, what a picture-perfect Adelaide autumn day. They're not lost on me. I think in life you've got to have gratitude, and I very rarely open with that. But when you do get a perfect day, cold, crisp morning, not a cloud in the sky, not a puff of wind, then the sun comes up. That golf was a mill pond, and they're my two favourite things. When there's no wind, you look at that golf. You know, it might not be on that water getting the King George Whiting, but you can look at it, and it makes you feel how lucky we are to be born South Australian. Not even born South Australian, just to live in the greatest state, I think, in the world.
Little tear rolled down the eye when you looked out and it was as flat as a Carter's hat. And you thought,
well, unfortunately, people here know me too well that when it is flat like this, the winter winding are in, I can't say I've got a runny nose or a cold.
I'm getting it.
Only a couple of problems. Crows suck and Port are coming.
Yeah.
So let's get into the sport. Port well, they're starting to get a healthy list, and that is brilliant. First time for the year, Orazio Fantasia will be available. We know Charlie played in the sample last week, available. Here's a very happy Port coach, Ken Hinkley.
We won't make that call just yet, Robbo. We'll see. We've only just seen him today. He's pulled up pretty well. You know, he's a big part of our team. The difficult thing we've got is that everyone knows there's no sample game on the weekend. So I think ideally we'd have given Charlie the opportunity to play at least another sample game. But do need to get him in because we've got 3 games before the bye. So it'll be a really well thought through process before we make the decision on Thursday.
So you can hear, Robbo, that was on AFL 360 last night. So who's putting Charlie straight back in? Now, I am, but I don't reckon they will. I honestly don't reckon they will. Marshall, best probably game for his career, certainly that third quarter. Finlayson, best game for the club. Mitch Georgiadis does what Mitch does. He complements the two. It's a 3-pronged triple threat. So who's out for Charlie is number one, or is Charlie just not in? Or do you roll with all 4? I'd love you to have your say, Port supporters.
You can have your say, 8223 0000. Just on that, bad news coming through, literally, as you were saying, how great it is to have Charlie back. Jake Bassini at Port Adelaide has done his knee, did it this morning at training. Awkward marking contest. He's ruptured his ACL and will miss the remainder of the season. So just as we're about to say, gee, they're getting some soldiers back. They've got a healthy list. That's unfortunate for the young man.
I hate hearing that. I do. Poor lad, our thoughts with him. He'll have to recover like Rory and hundreds of others that have done it.
That's right.
Yours truly one. And great news for the Crows. B. Smith and Ed McHenry back from concussion. Lockie Murphy cleared of any injury to his neck. Here's high performance manager Darren Burgess.
Yeah, so Lachlan Murphy had a pretty heavy collision in the third quarter on the weekend, experienced some neck pain, and given his history, you know, we're all a little bit concerned about it. He was unable to finish the game. We put him through an MRI yesterday as a precaution, and he was cleared of any serious damage there. So we expect him to train tomorrow and be available on the weekend. He's walking around now, he's doing everything in the gym, and we expect no real issues with him.
Yeah, great news there. Hey, only Seed and Rory out. But just on that tackle, Cripps was the tackler. The MRO, no case to answer, nor should have there been. But they did feel they needed to comment on it because there was a little bit of, you know, I don't know, writing or literature about it, but well done, MRO. You got one right.
So they said it was the view of the match review officer that Cripps's actions did not constitute a reportable offence because there was no second motion. It wasn't he grabbed him, then slung him.
Yep.
He just grabbed him and smashed him. So he got off.
Right. Yep. There's some speculation over Riley Thilthorpe. Now, most Crows, if not every Crow, would have Riley in this week. Now, he had a sore knee. He had a little bit of treatment with his knee, but that's okay. He then got COVID. He's been out for 2. Here's Burjo again.
So Riley Thilthorpe came out of COVID protocols last Wednesday. He had some symptoms early with his COVID, so we were a bit cautious with him. He completed a full session on both Wednesday and Friday last week, and he'll be in normal training this week and be available for selection for the weekend.
That is good news. So if Thilthorpe's fit, he's in this week. End of story. In no consideration needed, the fact he hasn't played for 2 weeks. I mean, obviously there's fitness things if he hasn't got long COVID or whatnot, but that front 6 needs a new look. He's rested. He's a talented lad. Went out round 1. He kicked 5 on debut. Play him. He's going to grow quicker for me in the AFL than the SANFL. Play him.
Have Marshall and Georgiadis been better for runs in the AFL, even when they necessarily,
Well, look at what they've done, Todd Marshall. It's
so
come.
Why wouldn't you do the same with Riley?
Put him in. And this is the big AFL story of the day, and I'd love your interaction on this. There's a bit of fun with it. There's a little bit of millennial about it. There's a little bit of harden the you-know-what up. There's a little bit of tough love, old school, peeling the paint off the walls. And me being an old schooler, a lot of our listeners call me what, Leith, an old dinosaur?
Yeah, dinosaur, fossil.
Round 3, Lions absolutely smoked North. This is North Melbourne, by 108 points. Kangaroos coach David Noble, who we know really well, a very smart, measured, intelligent football man, has been in the footy industry for a number of years. He's one of my favourite football people. He's a ripper. He gave the team, apparently, an almighty spray. So here's what was reported last night from Herald Sun's John Ralph.
Guys, I can reveal tonight that David Noble was so concerned about the nature of his spray at his players after the round 3 loss to Brisbane up at the Gabba that he reflected upon it, and in the days afterwards he decided he needed to apologise to him for his conduct. So he effectively tore strips off his players after that loss. It isn't the first time the players have told him that his feedback hasn't been as constructive as it might have been. But it's fair to say it was personal enough in nature that some of the players were shell-shocked about it, some of them even a bit emotional about it.
So here's the thing. That we're
Your
hearing.
face. How does that sit with you?
Yeah, a little bit of wah, 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 a little bit of call the Wamlets, a little bit of Sookie Lala. One player did cry, Leith. Did he not? Some were a bit taken aback. It was a good old-fashioned spray, what I would call a whack between the eyes. Now, since that round 3 loss, because you want to see what the response is. So how's the response? Well, they only just lost to Sydney. They got smoked by the Dogs, 10 goals to Geelong. Carlton walloped them by 50 and they only kicked 3 goals versus Freo. So you'd say in isolation the next 5 games haven't been terribly good. Well, here's Jack Zeeble. He's the skipper. Here's what he said about it all.
It was a pretty disappointing performance from our team that night, and in fairness, we just lost by over 100 points. So the coach, gave us a pretty direct message after the game, and I think in the coming days he might have reflected upon that and thought that maybe it was a little bit too much, but my recollection is, to be honest, that he didn't need to do that. His message was fair, it was direct, that the performance wasn't up to standard. The following week we got a great response, and to be honest, we probably should have beaten Sydney in Sydney. I mean, the players responded really well. So I'm a little bit bemused to think that this has made such big news, to be honest.
Good on him. Supporting his coach. There's a little bit of HTFU for those millennials in that team. But the knock-on effect is this. The number one fallout could be this. Their pick 1, Jason Horne-Francis, that if he's not their best player now, after 7 games, he will be. He's put his contract negotiations on hold. Out. So if Port or Crows have 3 first-round picks, he could be yours. So I thought I'd look at a bit of history with this, just aside. Tim Kelly to West Coast Eagles. So Tim Kelly was at Geelong.
Star.
He was about a pick 20. He was a mature age player. He was a runner-up in their best and fairest. He's been an All-Australian. He had 2 fantastic years, 23, 24 years of age. Geelong got pick 14, pick 18, pick 24 and pick 37. That's a lot. West Coast got Kelly. They gave them back 52 and a third round, and it would be in the 50s as well. Well, Port would need to give, because if he's coming back, Fabian's his dad.
Yep.
Fabian Francis, war number 8. Fabian's his dad. Who wears number 8 for Port now?
Josh Sin.
City, you'll be giving that up. So there's number 1.
Thanks, Josh.
No
Welcome.
disrespect, City. You're a ripper. You're going to play a lot of footy, but just slide to another number.
That's right.
Port would need to give 2 first-round picks, and I mean low first-round picks. And then you have to throw in a Zach Butters or a Todd Marshall type to go back to Melbourne. Now, you're doing that? Port supporters? 8223 0000. They'd have cap space.
They're describing Jason as a generational player.
Generational player.
So would you like to see him at the other mob if you didn't?
So here's the thing.
Give something to get something.
Bix and I were firm on this. And I don't know whether the Crows in the end had one last crack at it. We said give your pick last year.
Yep.
Your next first-round pick, and they had another. Give 3 first-rounders and get him today, get him now.
That's right.
And didn't happen. Because North wouldn't move.
There would be alarm bells at North that he's put that off, would there not?
Oh, alarm bells.
Your best player, first-round draft pick, future face of the club, and he's just saying, just shelve that for now. We'll see where we go.
Yeah, but let's get back to sledging, because we're going to want to have some fun with this. Lines are available. Here's a modern coach. His name's Ken Hinkley, talking about millennial views on old-fashioned sprays. Have a listen.
I had a fella called Malcolm Blight as the coach, and Malcolm was as good as anyone at giving a correction discussion, I would call it, and he certainly could correct you. But look, you always learn from, you always grew from. And Michael's right; it was a totally different time. Today's players, we certainly handle them differently, and rightly so. They get respect from us straight away, and you do have to handle it differently. You can't afford just to go. You can't go nuts, really. You've just got to be a little bit more controlled. And any time you probably do lose it, you probably get it wrong.
Okay. Well, I had Mal Brown
spray
into Don Haddo, who T.I. wouldn't even talk about. He was that bad with the spray. Into Neil Baum, one of God's gentlemen, loved him. Into Neil Craig, intense. To the stud, who will have on after 5.
Yes.
Into Robert Shaw. Into Peter Rode. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 7 senior coaches, and they all sprayed me.
I was about to say they could all give a bake.
From a different degree to another degree.
Yeah.
One of them spat at me. We won't name which one that is. You can guess who it may or may not have been. But here's the thing. We thought we'd do this. Didn't you like me sharing that?
Oh, no, it's
well, sort of like at my feet.
Yeah,
not in my face.
I'm just appalled that happened.
No, well, Leith, we're old school. I didn't care. If he had it, I just wiped it off. Maybe clocked him. Coaches famous for sprays.
Yeah.
Ronald Dale Barassi.
Daryl, you are a I'll tell you why. You're bloody not switched on properly. Keith, you've done the typical bloody thing. You could have run and intercepted that first goal, and you probably don't even know what I'm talking about, do you?
No.
That's bloody right. Now, if you bloke think I'm stirred up, you're bloody right.
Come on, Daryl.
Nah, that's Ronald. Now, he coached the next great. His name's Malcolm Blight.
To start like that means you won't win, particularly with a pathetic effort from Pittman in ruck. I mean, it was the most disgraceful display I've ever seen from a big fella. And that's pretty hard on an individual, but he's going to have to live with that because we got carried away as a team.
Kids
Apologies
today,
to Daisy because I didn't want to play that. I did ring Daisy. Now, apologies, but that's there. I think those two would be on the podium.
Yes.
Until I heard Rodney Rocket-Eade.
Now, just want to flag from here on, the language gets a little
So there's a lot of
fruitier,
bits.
so we have done a lot of beats.
This is Rocket-Eade.
Rodney Eade.
Come on, Mitch!
Right.
Work, Mitch!
Yes. So is he just not working hard?
Give it off quick! Come on, Mitch, it again!
That's in the coach's box. We cut a lot of that out. Who was the other voice in the background?
That is Leon Cameron,
Who
his
happens to be
assistant.
coaching who?
Yeah,
GWS. And what was that show on telly that he was on?
What was the doco called?
Well, he was as colourful. So
Yeah.
so you copy your mentors.
That's right.
I think you do. Here's Damien Hardwick in a Matthew Nix in a Stuart G.
Man the up! You play a Richmond style of game! Get it done! Smash our mids all summer! Me! Minus 24 contested! What the
Wow. Again, apologies, mums, dads, kids.
But that's to the group. A lot of
That's
it's
right.
not to the individual.
No.
Millennials, listen, it's to the group. You're all in this together. It's a team. It's all that sort of
So
stuff.
listen to that and imagine what David Noble has done that he had to apologise.
Apologise.
Because that's fairly confronting.
Yeah, and then here's some random from country footy.
In this room there's 22 players, and I reckon 10 years are the dumbest I've ever coached in 16 years. And I don't give a if you don't like me for saying that. They walked it out of our
We've had to.
That's enough.
So here's the thing. I call it cold baked beans out the can. I give it to my kids every now and then. The reason I can give cold baked beans out the can, so to speak, it's just a figure of speech, is because I love them and they love me.
Right.
There's mutual respect. So the millennials, you've got to hug and kiss and all that sort of stuff. You can't do both apparently now. So is it fire and brimstone? Is it, my way or the highway, peeling the paint off the walls spray? Are they gone? Is it now DMs on the phone?
Yep.
Huggies. Be careful how you word it. Choose your words differently. It's not one size fits all. You can't give an old-fashioned spray.
Let's hear it.
Why?
8223 0000. Anyone associated in sport, does the old-fashioned spray, does the bake still occur in 2022? Or have we turned the corner? Is this a new generation where you've just got to just rein that in?
Have you given one? Have you received one? Have you heard one? Who's the best spray? Any sport, any level. We'd love to hear. We've got a $50 Powers voucher. Best spray. Come on, give us some examples.
Yeah.
And then comment on millennials. Have you got a grandkid that's a millennial? Have you got a son or daughter a millennial? Do you have to treat them differently to how you treated your parents? I know how my dad and mum parented me. I can't parent my kids like that.
No.
Well, I can to two of them, but one of them I've got to be a little bit more sensitive.
That's right.
You can't give them the old-fashioned...
You can't anymore. And fair to say, our audience who listen are of a generation that wouldn't understand that. There would be a lot of people listening right now who are thinking, why on earth would David Noble apologise to his team?
That's right.
That's not what we do. But you can't get away with it anymore. So have you say, 8223 0000. We would love to hear. You can send us a text, 0448 08 1395 for Sip and Save, or send an email on air at 5AA.com.au. Adam, as we go to the break, players need to toughen up. Millennials are snowflakes. There's a little bit of that. We'll take your calls on that next.
Each week on the 5AA Breakfast Show, David and Will talk to star players from the Adelaide Crows. Thanks to Leader Computers, Australia's largest Australian-owned PC manufacturer, based right here in Adelaide.
In the last 30 years, Labor governments on average delivered higher interest rates, higher unemployment, higher power prices, and not a single balanced budget. A strong economy? It won't be easy under Albanese. Authorised by AHOS Liberal Canberra.
Cars. We love them. From the 4x4 that takes you off-grid to the convertible sports model for long coastal drives. Or your pride and joy that you love tinkering on every weekend. Whatever car you love, eBay has everything you need to look after it. With Australia's widest range of car parts and accessories, all at great eBay prices, you'll find any car part you need, no matter what you're looking for. Find it, buy it, fix it on eBay. Everyone's a winner.
Imagine the thought of innovation at your fingertips, accelerating with efficiency and power. Imagine a bold, striking design with the comfort and confidence of advanced safety tech. Imagine where you could go in a Hyundai SUV. An SUV range with enough style, tech and performance to turn your imagination into reality. So if you're thinking SUV, think Hyundai SUV. Discover yours at Hyundai.com.au.
If you need a window, and not just anything will do, just call Statesman Windows back to redirect to you.
Nobody beats Statesman Windows, not on quality and certainly not on service. Windows, sliding doors, bifolds and more, made right here in Adelaide, factory direct to you. For windows when and where you want them, call Statesman Windows, states.com.au.
Windows when and where you want them. Windows when and where you want them.
Breaking news at Beaumont's. As well as Australia's biggest range of tiles, Beaumont's now has a range of quality hybrid flooring. Get stunning hybrid timber look or make an impression with magnificent hybrid stone look. With our new quality flooring options, you'll be happy you chose Beaumont's.
If you have a personal alert system that relies on a landline and is connected to your NBN modem, it may not work during a power failure. Upgrade today for just $99. That's 75% off normal price. For more info, go to carealert.com.au.
Need it fixed? Fitted? Need it flushed? Replaced? Built? Tiled? Cleaned? Give Ken a call.
Ken Hall Plumbers, your local plumbers since 1983. For plumbing, gas fitting, roofing and hot water, give Ken a call, 8364 5855.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. Recently, we've achieved suburb record prices in Toorak Gardens, Colonel Art Gardens and Woodville Park. That's industry-leading results right across Adelaide. Could your home be the next record breaker? Go to toop.com.au.
$1 trillion of debt means 6% home loan rates, and you will lose your home. We'll freeze home loan rates below 3% for 5 years. Save your home. Vote United Australia Party.
Authorised by Clive Palmer for the United Australia Party, Brisbane.
Scraped your caravan? Walker Crash Repairs, an RAA approved caravan crash repairer.
This is Rowey's Sports Show.
24 minutes after 4, does the bake still exist in 2022? Does the old-fashioned spray, the fire and brimstone that we saw and heard from the likes of Ron Barassi and Tom Hafey, Kevin Sheedy and co? You can ask Sheeds. He's coming up after 4:30. Cornsey gives a good spray. He's happy to walk into opposition team rooms and give them a spray. Also, Maddie Wilson coming up later in the show. Elite swimmer here for the Australian Swimming Champs. Do they spray in swimming?
We'll ask
her the question. We'll take your calls on that in just 1 second. First, the traffic for your drive home. End the financial year on a high. Edwardstown Mazda. See them for unbeatable end of financial year deals.
Smashes to look out for on the drive home. One at Tapley's Hill Road near the airport. Another one at Plimpton. That's on Cross Road at Anzac Highway. And another crash at Eden Hills, Shepherd's Hill Road at Wade Street. Burst Water Main. That's at Northfield Grand Junction Road near Foster's Road. And a twisted traffic light at Noarlunga Centre, Speech Road near Goldsmith Drive. Keep an eye for cameras too. Whites Road, Parallel and Salisbury Highway at Dry Creek. A little bit of help brought to you by NRMA Insurance, who have been helping Australians for over 95 years and are now proud to be here in South Australia. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Hello, Lenny.
How you going, Rowey?
Give us a good old spray.
Mate, I reckon I would have been about 10 or 11 years old, and my uncle, who was a police supporter, like my good self, my dad, managed to get inside the Glenelg club rooms and heard the one and only Neil Knuckles Curley.
Oh, beautiful.
Giving him a rev up before the game. Now, 10 or 11 years of old, I learnt how to swear proper that day, and I don't know that Dad was all too happy about it, but at the finish of his talk, I tell you, I kid you not, I reckon I could have run through that door.
Wow.
That's just how much respect the man commanded. And I think that's the key. It's all well and good to give guys a rev up and a bake, but you've got to be able to back it up. And blokes like Neil Curley commanded respect whenever they walked into a room.
Yeah, well done. You remember that from 10 years old, so it must have had a real influence on your life. But I think a rev-up or an inspirational pre-game address is a bit different to a spray. This is picking a player after a game or person or the team saying, you were pathetic.
You were no good.
But Neil Curley could probably have done the two, and he is unanimously respected. Loved him. Well done, Lenny. Thanks for sharing. Hello, Phil.
Yeah, Rowey, similar to the previous caller, I used to go into the rooms with Westies at Adelaide Oval and watch Curls give the spray at half time, and gee, it worked a treat. Oh. But in more contemporary times, I can remember Neil Craig giving the Crows a spray at quarter time at Etihad Stadium.
Okay.
When they're 8 goals down to the Bulldogs at quarter time. And boy, did that work. It was a massive spray.
Yeah.
And you could see it on TV, you could hear it. And gee, the boys reacted, and they turned that game around, and they got up and won.
Yeah,
and you reckon that Blighty would have won those 2 premierships if he hadn't given the boys a spray on occasion?
Oh, he was genius, Phil. He was genius. He knew his target. He chose his words. He knew the respect that player would have had with the group. He knew the actual outcome before he delivered. He would have never shot his gob off without it being considered, and he's probably one of the best, and he was taught by one of the best in Ronald Dale Barassi. Phil, thanks for that. Thanks for sharing. We get a lot of texts on the Sip and Save text line. Alan Killigrew, back in the Norwood days, would knock doors down and peel the walls off, and our change rooms were underneath that southern stand, and they reckoned there wouldn't be any noise in the southern stand. They'd be just sitting there listening to Killer do his pre-game address.
Steve at Hectorville said David Noble is in the right at the end of the day. Noble will probably be sacked at the year's end. What do the players expect? Shows you how far we've come, though, in 25 years, that the Malcolm Blight stuff wouldn't get away with it today, I don't think.
Malcolm could. Because he'd do it right. He'd have the mutual respect.
But if you had a coach call a player pathetic like he did David Pittman on a public forum, like a national broadcaster, that's a massive story today. A massive story then. Yeah. This one said case by case on how players respond. Yeah. Brian Lake responded with solid performances after Rodney Eade sprayed him every time. Yeah. I heard Adam Cooney say that. Brian got one every game.
Oh.
And then turned out to be a fair player. Have you say, we'd love to hear your thoughts on the spray. As we say, a couple of the great coaches of all time to come up. Kevin Sheedy and Graham Corns to have theirs.
5AA Breakfast.
This is about the confidence. We don't want children feeling that it's something they can't do.
Yeah, I've got to say, I totally disagree with that mindset. The idea that exams are confronting, well, they're sort of meant to be, aren't they? It's a test.
Informing Adelaide.
The world is heading down certainly our little part of the Western world is heading down a pretty mollycoddling path.
What's the point of the test then?
Hooray for everyone.
6 a.m. weekdays on 5AA.
Going to Hawaii when half of Australia was burning was a mistake.
I don't hold a hose, mate.
Not making sure we had enough vaccines and rapid tests was a mistake.
It's not a race, it's not a competition.
No one gets it right all the time, but Morrison makes too many mistakes. Next time something goes wrong, do you trust him to make it right?
Because that's not my job. That's not my job. It's not my job to do that.
Authorised by P. Erickson, Australian Labor Party, Canberra.
There are some things in SA that are better off together, like the Popeye and the Torrens, Fritz and Sauce, the Mall's Balls. But if you're after the perfect pair, you can't go past your seniors card paired with a National Pharmacies membership. Your seniors card entitles you to an exclusive National Pharmacies membership offer, and you'll benefit with up to 70% off prescription medication, 20% off prescription glasses and sunnies, and much more. So talk to our friendly team at National Pharmacies and join the community that cares for yours.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Good afternoon, I'm Michaela Kmarek. Shocking footage has emerged of a 16-year-old girl being assaulted by another student at an SA high school. South Australians suffering long COVID will receive treatment for the first time at 4 new specialised clinics. The son of the former Philippines dictator Ferdinand Marcos has secured a landslide victory in the presidential election, and former Australia cricketer Ryan Campbell has been discharged from hospital in England following a cardiac arrest last month. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Few smashes to look out from the drive home. One at Tapley's Hill Road near the airport. Another one at Plimpton, that's on Cross Road at Anzac Highway. And another crash at Eden Hills, Shepherds Hill Road at Wade Street. Burst Water Main, that's at Northfield Grand Junction Road near Foster's Road. And a twisted traffic light at Noarlunga Centre, Speech Road near Goldsmith Drive. Keep an eye for cameras too. Whites Road, Paralawi and Salisbury Highway at Dry Creek. A little bit of help brought to you by NRMA Insurance, who have been helping Australians for over 95 years and are now proud to be here in South Australia. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Clear tonight, a low of 10. Cloudy tomorrow, a top of 21. Right now it's 18 degrees. More news at 5 o'clock and As It Happens on 5AA.
Everybody loves their country.
I'm Anthony Fay from Ray White Real Estate. During open inspections, modern window furnishings done well really get the offers rolling in. They bring a look of quiet luxury to a home. Smart home improvements add value. Stunning curtains and shears are a feature that really makes a difference.
Improve, invest and add value with beautiful curtains and shears to match by country. Visit countryblinds.com.au for a free measure and quote.
Everybody loves their country.
What makes Ray White the big name in business broking? They're people, like multi-time SA Business Broker of the Year, Brett Buckley, and his team of business professionals. They take a deep dive into your business, finding value and potential, and they know what they're looking for because they know businesses. They're not real estate salespeople trying to sell businesses, they're business people selling businesses. If you want to know what your business is worth, touch base with Brett. Search Ray White Business Sales SA, multiple Business Broker of the Year awards.
Hi, I'm Izzy and my family runs St. Louis Home Care, which was started by my great-grandma 75 years ago. I wanted to introduce you to Deb, a carer and our receptionist. She's great.
Hi, Izzy.
Deb, you've been at St. Louis for 10 years. What do you love about it?
Oh, it's a great family-friendly environment and everyone's happy.
That's because St. Louis got them covered.
With everything from shopping and meals to gardening and home maintenance.
And don't forget the social activities. Google St. Louis Home Care to find out how my family can help take care of yours.
Walker Crash Repairs. For easy insurance repairs on your caravan. Get it fixed right with Walker Crash Repairs.
This is Rowey's Sports Show.
27 minutes to 5. We'll get to the injury update very shortly for Western Hospital. Have a look at which Crows and Port Adelaide are a chance to sneak in to the AFL this weekend. We'll also hear from Graham Corns just after 5 o'clock. But Kevin Sheedy is brought to us by BL Shipway, South Australian institution who've been looking after SA's hydraulic and pneumatic needs for over 70 years.
Kevin Sheedy. Don't ever let any club or player tolerate you.
Sheeds, welcome.
That's good. Get the message. Did you get that message?
Yeah, I did. Give me a spray, Sheets. Give me an old... Just launch me. Just
no, look,
launch me, Sheets.
Mate, when I cut pieces to... no, be careful. Be careful. Malcolm likes the best. He did it methodically.
Yeah, he did. Did you ever give any old-fashioned sprays?
Sorry, mate. I would have climbed the ladder. I would not have climbed that ladder.
No, we've heard that one. Well, North coach David Noble, he's had to apologise for after his round 3 rant to the players. Some of them got a little bit sensitive. Are you surprised at this story in today's age?
Now you know I have no interest in coaching, mate.
Oh, no.
It has got... look, I'm actually worried. I think we've become a lazy country. We can't handle the pressure sometimes. I reckon we've got a great country. I don't think we can't find people to work, which is just unbelievably ridiculous. And this is what's happening over here. I don't know what's happening over there. And when it gets down to our majors, I mean, when you see Rick McCosker go out to play with a broken jaw in the centenary test, like, that's
it.
That's lifting. That's lifting, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when you see players who have got some serious injuries, they're hanging in there trying to win for your teammates in the club, and a spray, mate. Back pocket plumber. You're too slow to be finessing. I said, mate, all I tried to do was kick it with my left foot. Get over it.
Yeah. Well, we want to get into your brain with this, Sheeds, because you were at Essendon for 27 years in that coaching time. Did you have to change your delivery from day 1 to year 27? And then don't forget, in 2013, you finished at GWS. Well, there were millennials left, right and centre there. So I'm interested to see how you had to... change the Kevin Sheedy or have to reinvent the Kevin Sheedy, or did you?
You have to. Yeah, you do, because every group's a different group, particularly every 3 to 5 years. So I made sure that I could change. A lot of people think, used to think, well, who are you? I mean, I think Tim Watson wrote a book about the jigsaw man. He had no idea what sort of person I was at the end. But the deal in the end is you just can't be the same person for 27 years in the one club. You've got to go through different periods of your life in your own personal development, and along the way find out what the team and the club need. And of course, we had an enormous amount of changes over that, quarter of a century virtually, isn't it? And we were at Windy Hill, we went to the MCG, and then we ended up at Marvel. And they're all different sorts of types of different grounds. So strategically, you've got to be very aware of what happens. And then, of course, when you're playing in all these other grounds, like you would around Adelaide, the sample, every ground was different. And then all of a sudden you're at the G and everybody's equal.
Yeah.
They all know the MCG now, so it's not as if you're going out to play on a terrible ground.
No. But I'm interested in the psyche of the evolution of the footballer, because back in my day, you only ever got a good old-fashioned spray, and you were taught to listen, not to backchat. You were taught to, respect the police.
I think you've got to plan what you're going to talk about sometimes, and you nearly know the objections are going to be A, B, C, D, and E, or whatever they are going to be, and you've got to have a reasonably intelligent answer while you're giving a forceful view of your opinion over their opinion. Because in the end, you're the coach and you're the person in charge.
Yep.
Now, the players are the players that play the game, obviously. But it's not as if we haven't played ourselves.
That's right.
And, of course, a lot of people at board level who make the decisions on the coach and the management and the coaching staff in general, they can be extremely more sensitive than the bloody players. Yeah, so it's a bit of everything, because there's sort of like 4 teams going here. You got your board, that's a team. You got your fans, they're a team. You got your coaching panel, and you got your footy team.
Yep.
So good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
You just got to be aware of all of those feelings.
Yeah.
And understand it.
Yeah, my parents are in their 80s, so there's me. I'm 57. I've got kids, and now we're getting grandkids. And my mum reckons we're breeding a weaker Aussie race.
most of people your mother and fathers and my age will be feeling that. I think that we're more sensitive.
Today we are, aren't we? The millennial is far more sensitive. You've got to put your arm around them before you can even talk to them. They've got to trust you. And here's the other thing, Sheeds. They don't rate you because they want your job. And they don't want to do the hard work to earn it. They want it. Just give it to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, I always used to say to the guys, look, I'm going to appoint some really top coaches here. They want my job. Try and get it because I'm pretty damn good. You've got to back yourself in.
Well said.
So I had Mark Thompson, Mark Williams, Neil Danaher, Mark Harvey.
Wow.
God, I had them all.
They've all coached,
Dennis Pagan. They're all my assistants.
Mm.
So I got some really good coaches in there to assist me to get better, to be honest, as well as give them their golden opportunity when they come knocking on the door. And did they come knocking? Because they all ended up, head coaches of AFL clubs.
They did. And great you mentioned Choco. I love Choco. He's still a value sheet. He's still around. And I don't know if he's ever going to get another top job again. I don't know even if he wants it. But my goodness, everywhere he goes, success follows somehow.
Yeah, no, he's a super coach. And unfortunately, management scared. But they shouldn't be, because he's an extremely intelligent man.
Mm.
He's got a reason to do things. Most of the times he's right. Is he stubborn? We all are in certain areas. And he expects everybody to get the best out of themselves while they're under his charge. And he will feel let down if he doesn't get the best out of them. That's how good this bloke is. But most of look, I'll be honest, when he went to Melbourne, I'm going, oh, don't tell me. Yeah.
They
and
did.
Of course, they ended up winning the premiership.
They did. Hey,
when he went to Richmond, I'm going, oh, no, okay, Tigers are all right. Yeah, good. Okay. Seen an old Tiger, But when he went to Melbourne, I'm going, this is going to be a headache now.
Yeah.
Because what he'll do is he'll fill out all the areas where other coaches may miss. And he'll bring up, well, have you considered A, B, C, D, F, G, or whatever, Yeah, and that's where he's quite brilliant. He's not offensive. He's one of my favourite people in AFL in the history of my life in AFL.
Wow. Yeah, he's right up there. Hey, before we go, the pressure's off Benny Rutten. You got to win. He must have had his coffee with you again, Sheeds.
No, nothing to do with me. I think it was really a spiritual feeling about these kids getting in a game when they got lucky to get back in the side, or when the other 4 or 5 lost their position through, flu. And I think in the end, to me, those kids never let him down. And all I've ever said, I'll be honest, all I've ever said to Ben and the club is just make sure he plays all the kids this year, so we know what we've got on the list, so we know what to do in the next 2 or 3 years. So we're, as I've often said to you, we're 50 games, all right, it might be 45 games now, shy of a very, very good side.
Okay, you big back pocket plumber head, Sheeds. Give me a spray going into the break. Come on. Give me a spray, Sheeds, into the break.
This will get taped all over Australia, and I just don't want to hurt anybody's feelings in that new age group. Can you hear me?
Sheeds, have a good week.
You guys got observation in those eyes, have you? So I can go through about 6 rippers and people say, I can't believe the guy talks like that or even thinks like that. But that's the way coaches could be and should be.
That's exactly right. There's only one Kevin Sheedy. Sheeds, have a good week.
Have a good time. Bye, everybody, and good health, and have a lot of fun out of COVID.
Great work. Kevin Sheedy, our guest.
All thanks to BL Shipway.
He didn't want to give me a spray, did he? BL Shipway has been looking after your hydraulic and pneumatic needs since 1953. If you can't get into their huge Richmond Road locations, and they're chocker full of stock, so get in there, they will send a Ryco 247 van your way. Bring us Sheeds.
We will get to some big changes coming to local cricket in just 1 second. First, on the Sip and Save text line, lots of text messages coming through, as you can imagine. Not a lot of sympathy for the players of today. Roger says Eddie Holland, 1989, Edithburgh Footy Club. Man, could he give a spray.
Wow.
The young ones of today need a teaspoon of cement. Eddie says, I get a worse spray from the missus every Saturday night when I get home than by any footy coach.
Eddie, come on, Eddie.
Michael says, tell this marshmallow and fairy tale world world that we live in to get over it. A good spray is a good thing. It keeps the blood pumping. Someone said nobody did a better or more effective spray than the great Neil Knuckles Curley. Wayne says players need to toughen up. A spray doesn't hurt anyone. And this one, Rob from West Croydon. Yes, I'm a dinosaur. I can't imagine how the millennials would cope if they were paraded on the stage at Alberton after a poor performance and grilled by the coach in front of the members. Some of it must have worked, though. The score is on the honour roll. That would not have... The public lashing that would have happened back in the 60s, 70s and 80s.
I think it's this for me. I look at it. None of them have scarred me. And from my dad to either school teachers to coaches... to people in my life that you love, if you respected that person, you copped it sweet, you played fair. And if you're a half-decent sort of human, you listen to them and you try to improve that and never, ever, ever do it again. Now, how's that hurt anyone? I mean, I'm from that era where that's what you got, and it shaped who I am.
So question for you, are we a softer generation now and the kids coming up a softer generation now, or have we evolved and was some of the stuff that went back then prehistoric?
We give them an out. My kids get a spray if they deserve it, so they should. Hasn't harmed them. I've got 3 of the most beautiful kids.
Okay.
Very respectful.
But you can't do it at work anymore. You can't do it in the workplace or the football club.
Well, you hear me. I don't hold back.
But you can't.
What do you mean?
Today's standards
I'm still alive. I'm still here.
Today's standards don't allow it.
No, but I don't swear. I'm not disrespectful. No. I don't threaten. I'm not threatening.
But David Noble must have been... That must have been...
Well, Zeeble didn't care.
No, but he's old school. He's been there.
What's wrong with old school? Why does old school have to be the wrong school?
I'm not batting for the new ones. I'm just saying.
No, but why are we eroding what worked so well in Australia through so many generations, through the World War I era, the World War II, to the Depression years, to the early 60s? Why did it work so well and we produced such great Australians, and now we're here? And now we're here. Well, we give them outs. We give them excuses. I'll tell you what a millennial does. They don't respect you enough. You know what they want? They want your job without working hard to get it. How about you do the hard work, pay your dues, and you get it when you get it and you earn it. You flogs.
Sean from Morpeth Vale, you're going okay until the sledge at the end. Hey, boys.
I did it.
I know. Sean from Morpeth Vale. I got a sledge from Don Scott when he coached South Adelaide. I was a young fella. We all had skin fold tests. After training one night pre-season, had a team meeting in the change rooms. The team's all sitting down. Scott called out my name, told me to stand up. He looked me in the eyes and he said in a very loud voice, "Son, you're obese." It was the fittest I have ever been.
Yeah.
See, Sean, again, is that what we want?
It's about respect. If you respect the person delivering it, you will listen and you'll alter whatever behaviours you need to and get better. What's wrong with that? I mean, honestly, what's wrong with being respectful?
I guarantee you, overwhelming majority of listeners right now agree with you. But that's the question.
My last year of coaching, I remember walking out to a huddle and saying to a player, and it'll remain anonymous, "You didn't do this, you didn't do that, you didn't do this." The player says straight back, "Well, I think I did. I'd like to see the video in our review on Monday." Well, we've got another half a footy to play, you little earther kit.
Now.
No, but that would never happen in my day. Imagine me saying to Mal Brown or any of those coaches, Neil Craig.
I disagree with you, Mal. I politely disagree.
I'll take it up
well,
the score.
Exactly right.
So, Corns, if you had said to me at quarter time, "I'd like you to do this, you didn't do this," and I said, "Well, I disagree with you, Cornsy. I'd like to see that in our review on Monday, and until then, will we just agree to disagree?" Mate, he'd have punched me in the head.
Cornsy will be a fascinating chat at 5 o'clock because I think Graham has evolved over the years and is a lot more receptive to a lot more things now than he might have been. So has he softened?
Well, is he better?
Has he softened on this stance?
Yeah, society softens us. Society has softened me.
We will find out at 5 o'clock.
Society has softened me, and I look in the mirror, and I don't like what looks back.
End of the financial year, you can end it on a high. Edwardstown Mazda for unbeatable end of financial year deals. What are we calls on this after traffic?
Eden Hill's got a smash on Shepherds Hill Road at Wade Street. That's affecting both directions and causing big delays heading towards Sturt Road. Burst Waterman at Northfield, Grand Junction Road near Foster's Road, and a couple of twisted traffic lights, one at Noarlunga Centre Beach Road near Goldsmith Drive, and another one at Cavan, Port Wakefield Road near Churchill Road. Conquer the cold at Totally Workwear. Workwear and uniforms from all the best brands to keep you warm and protected. Head to totallyworkwear.com.au to find your closest store. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Catch Port Adelaide big key forward Charlie Dixon each week on Rowey Sports Show.
Big Charlie's kicked it!
Thanks to Macca's. Earn points on your Macca's run after the game with My Macca's Rewards. Macca's SA, home of footy.
If you've got to keep it cool, you need Budget Car and Truck Rentals, especially if you're in business. Budget Car and Truck Rentals have a fleet of refrigerated vans, trucks and cool rooms standing by to keep your business in business. Transporting or storing flowers, chocolate and all fresh produces. Keep it cool in a refrigerated van, truck or cool room from Budget Car and Truck Rentals. Oh, great for parties too. Call 13 27 27. That's 13 27 27.
G'day, it's Mark Bickley. Well, it's tax time. The absolute best time to get in touch with your Leader Computers reseller, especially if you run a business. Order and install your new Leader PC before June 30 to get a significant tax deduction, plus amazing pricing from Leader. And with Leader Computers, you're dealing with a true SA company with outstanding local customer support. Live life local. Live life Leader this tax time. Visit leadersystems.com.au to find your closest Leader reseller.
I'm Rachel Swift, health specialist, small business owner, volunteer and Liberal candidate for Boothby. I listen and will be the strongest advocate for our community. A strong economy means a stronger future. Vote 1 for Rachel Swift in Boothby.
Authorised Best Meldrum, Liberal Adelaide.
Hi, Katie Bridges here, Market Lead at FIVEAA. Last year I participated in the Vinnie's CEO Sleep Out. It was an extremely wet one and I was certainly grateful that I could choose to do it for one night only. But it was absolutely worth it to raise funds and support the incredible work that Vinnie's do. I've signed up again this year because I care about our community, so I'm urging other business and community leaders that care to do the same. Register now at ceosleepout.org.au.
If you're due for a service, here's a little reminder of what you get at Mawson Lakes Mazda. Sure, your car gets state-of-the-art servicing by top-trained mechanics, but what do you get? Try next day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash. Oh, and your breakfast or lunch is on us. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, we know that to be the best, we've got to look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
Hello, Ian Henschke from National Seniors Australia. Australia desperately needs more than 400,000 extra workers, and we've got pensioners who want to help, want to work and work more. But we've got a confusing system that gives you a bonus for one day's work and penalises you more than 50 cents in the dollar after that. Make it simple, make it fair. Get rid of the pensioner work tax now. It's a win for pensioners, for business and for Australia. Sign our petition at nationalseniors.com.au.
Here at FIVEAA, we're all about supporting local. National Pharmacies is excited to announce an exclusive membership offer to all seniors card members. Details in store or online. Join the community that cares for yours. Scraped your caravan? Walker Crash Repairs, an RAA approved caravan crash repairer.
This is Rowey Sports Show.
9 minutes to 5. Oh my lord, some of the text messages coming through. We're even getting sprays on the phone just to be passed on. Have the courage to call up and spray Rowey to his face as opposed to poor old Sam copying it. Graham Corn's coming up after 5.
Well, we're going to speak to SACA's CEO, Charlie Hodgson. SACA overnight has proposed a two-divisional model for first and second grade Premier Cricket competition. It's on the back of the Hussey report. Charlie joins us now. Charlie, welcome.
Hi, Rose. Thanks for having me.
Can I say, firstly, congratulations on the new gig. Good to have you in town.
Thank you very much. I've had a couple of months. It's been great getting settled in. It's an amazing. I think this is the best cricket ground in the world.
Of course it is. Charlie, anyway. Of course it is. You've won me over already. Now you've had 2 months with your size 9 slippers under the desk. This is a massive proposal and change. Please explain.
Yeah, well, the SACA board put together a committee with nominees from the Premier Cricket committee to look at how to make the Premier Cricket competition more competitive within the current 13-team structure. So at the moment there's one league of 13, everyone plays everyone, and they've come up with a plan to go to 2 divisions, so there'll be 6 teams in Division 1 and 7 in Division 2, and promotion and relegation of 1 club either way during, at the end of each season. So we believe that that's going to provide a stronger and more competitive competition, and ultimately that will help us produce more homegrown players through that competition.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, for me, it appears mergers are off the table. So will clubs get a chance to vote for this new structure? Or, Charlie, you're saying through the SACA board, it's in?
Well, no, it's we're going through a consultation period now with the clubs. So that started last night, and we're off on a bit of a road show in the next few weeks. So I'm going to start this evening. We want the clubs to have as much input as they can. They've been around for hundreds of years. Some of them, they've got a huge amount of expertise, and we know that their input will be invaluable in refining the proposal that we've come up with. We're sure that the proposal is a really strong one, and certainly stronger than the current status quo. But if the clubs come up with other solutions, then we would be, mad not to consider those. So.
You're going to have 6 teams in Div 1 and a 7-team Div 2 comp. How are you going to pick which clubs are in which Div right from the start?
Yeah, so the only fair way of doing that is allowing the clubs to play for that right. So, in effect, the season coming up, starting in October, would be still 13 teams. So the top 6 would then qualify for Division 1 for the following year, because it's deemed that, that's the fair way to go about it.
Okay. Promotion and relegation?
Yep. Promotion and relegation. So, and that's where the competitiveness comes from, frankly, because if you're in Division 1, you're either playing to get into the finals or to make sure you don't get relegated. And if you're in Division 2, you've got the opportunity to get promoted back up to Division 1. So it means that there are a lot more games where there's something hanging on the game, and there's a lot more games where the players will play under pressure. And so that is, that's a great thing in their development for the younger players, particularly if they're trying to get into the professional game, to be playing under pressure more often.
And SACA selection for the Redbacks can come from Div 1 or Div 2?
Yep, yeah, absolutely. So, no different to how it is now in terms of, whether you're in the top half of the table or the bottom half of the table.
Yep. So Alex Carey or Travis Head come back from Australian duties to state duties, and then state duties aren't on. Do they go back to a Div 2 team if that's where their club is?
We would expect them to go back to their club. Yeah. I mean, and that's no different really to if you look at English cricket now. Ben Stokes is playing for Durham in Division 2. He's been named the Test captain. Stuart Broad's playing for Nottinghamshire. So we're not. We would expect players that come up through the club system to stay loyal to their clubs and want to help them get back into the first division if they're in Division 2.
And just on another note, while we got you, Charlie, Dizzy's working at his list for the SACA. That's come out this year. You've got some new faces, which looks exciting.
Yeah, and it's always an exciting time. The off-season is it's fun to kind of look forward and be really optimistic about it. I think we had, I'm new to it here, obviously, but we had an encouraging end to the season with a lot of young players and winning for the first time in the Sheffield Shield for quite some time. So they were very buoyed with that. They've got a nice culture, and Henry Hunt's done particularly well. The new recruits, we want more of those to be homegrown, more and more of those to be homegrown if we can, but hopefully, fingers crossed for the coming season.
We're interactive here, Charlie. A sip and save text. Did you play? It's from Charlie. Did you play? This is Charlie on Charlie.
Well, I played until the Surrey second 11 was as far as I got. Played cricket all through the Surrey system in the UK.
Hey, Charlie, sorry, another one. Text message is coming through just on a similar line. This is from Daniel. From a player's perspective, Div 1 teams will only get stronger. It'll be a slow death for Div 2. And this one from Wally said, will the best players from Div 2 leave for the Div 1 clubs? It'll be hard to get promoted then.
Well, I mean, I would say if this actually gives more meaning to the clubs that are in the second half of the are in effectively the bottom half of the table currently, because they've got something to play for. There's less of a leap to aim for promotion, effectively coming 7th, than there is to currently. If you're languishing at the bottom of a 13-team division, you've actually got less to play for. So I think it's actually, my experience of it is it will be more fun to play in because there'll be more hanging on the games.
Fantastic, Charlie. Welcome to Adelaide. Great seat, the SACA CEO. If you help us win the Shield with great decision after great decision, I will personally carry you around on my shoulders the perimeter of Adelaide Oval.
Well, we'll remember that.
Are you a big fella? How heavy are you, Charlie, by the way? You big
No, very
sturgeon?
light.
Oh, done.
Very
Bang.
light, yeah.
Straight up on the right shoulder, Charlie. Thanks for your time.
Good stuff. Cheers, Ray.
We're in good hands there. Charlie Hodgson, Sakassia. I think, look, long overdue.
Yeah.
From afar, long overdue. New man in chair, Bumsky, 2 divisions, makes sense to me. We've had a report, we paid a dude to do it in us, and now we're doing it.
So
fantastic.
Mergers won't happen, which is a tick.
No, and I don't want mergers.
Let's see the water find its level and
Correct.
find out whether it is a good
Correct.
thing or a bad thing.
Well
I
said.
will just say on Ben Stokes, and it was Charlie's right, he did play in Division 2. He also hit 161 of 88 balls in 17 sixes. So I'm not sure that's great for Division 2. Great for Ben.
We've got his eye in.
That's
Seen
right.
him like a watermelon, mate.
Correct. So we'll see how that plays out.
Okay.
Graham Corns, stick around. He's next.
Bring back from overseas $1 trillion of Australian super. Inject it into the Australian economy. Save your family's future. Vote 1, United Australia Party.
Authorised by Clive Palmer for the United Australia Party, Brisbane.
There's one sign on Doothie Street, Unley, you must see. It's the Kirkbride seafood sign. It changes daily, from fresh crays to Atlantic salmon, King George whiting, garfish and SA King prawns. All sustainably fished and processed on site at Kirkbride Seafood. Not some faraway factory. It's a good sign that you're getting the best you can get, and so close to the city. See what's on the sign today. Kirkbride Seafood, Doothie Street, Unley. kirkbrideseafood.com.au.
Go Vita, your local health food shops. Over 30 years health and wellness experience and over 300 natural health practitioners specialising in you.
Hi, I'm Sue from Go Vita Semaphore. Come into any of our Go Vita stores for this special. Nutrivital aged garlic, 1 a day, 60 caps, $29.95, now $17.95, save 40%.
Go Vita, Colonnades, Fairview Green, Marion, Mount Barker, Manopara, Semaphore and Tanunda.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Late tonight, a low of 10 with the 5 o'clock news. I'm Michaela Camaro.
Want pure water? Filter your home for 20% off. CompleteHomefiltration.com.au.
Shocking footage has emerged of a 16-year-old girl being assaulted by another student at a Whyalla high school. The teenager was taken to hospital with minor facial injuries and concussion. Seven's Hannah Ford says it's extremely distressing.
In the video, we see a 16-year-old girl who was repeatedly punched, dragged along the ground and then repeatedly kicked in the head by a fellow student. She seems unable to defend herself and it goes for several minutes without anyone intervening.
People still experiencing COVID symptoms after 12 weeks will be able to get specialist treatment at 4 clinics across Adelaide. The clinics can provide help for a wide range of medical issues by experienced doctors and nurses. Dr Emily Kirkpatrick says they're seeing a lot more cases of long COVID.
Even if you have mild symptoms of COVID-19 during your 7-day isolation period, you can still go on to develop long COVID. So it's important, if you have those symptoms still at 4 to 6 weeks, book in to see your GP, and then at the 12-week mark we have options available across South Australia so you can get that care and support you need to get back on your feet.
Another 3 COVID deaths have been recorded in SA today, all women in their 70s, 80s and 90s. There's 3,683 new infections, around 700 more than yesterday's figure. The federal opposition says it would support a wage increase to match inflation. Australia's peak trade union has upped its annual submission to the Fair Work Commission to boost workers' pay by 5.5% this year. Labor leader Anthony Albanese says it's up to the industrial umpire to decide.
People should not go backwards. If you're on the minimum wage, you're struggling to pay your rent, you're struggling to buy food, you're struggling to get by. And the Fair Work Commission should bear that in mind in the decision that they make.
Prominent Adelaide trauma doctor Bill Grigg says he's glad no one was hurt after fire destroyed his holiday home at Galway South this morning. The fire on Barrage Road broke out just before 5 a.m. and caused $1 million damage to the two-storey home. Neighbour John Bailey has told Nine he grabbed a hose and tried to put out the flames.
We started hitting with the hoses, waiting for the fire trucks to arrive.
Kept wetting our house down and hoping that none of those sparks would start anything.
The cause is being investigated. The Northern Territory's Chief Minister is stepping down as leader to spend more time with his family. Michael Gunner has told Parliament his head and heart are no longer in the job following the birth of his second child last week.
I'm not going to stay in the job longer than I need just for the cheque or the ego. 46 is young for a Polly, but it is pretty old for a father of a newborn and a toddler. And that's who I want to spend more of my time with now for as long as I can.
Now tuning to 5AA Sport.
Pay way less for your auto parts. Call Hotline Auto Parts on 131 740 today.
A two-time All-Australian from the West is Port's latest AFLW recruit. Gemma Houghton has spent the past 6 seasons with Fremantle. She was a basketballer before switching to footy. In the men's A-League, Sydney FC and Brisbane Roar will wrap up the regular season tonight. Melbourne City has already secured the Premier's plate with a 2-1 win over Wellington Phoenix. And the Socceroos will play a friendly against Jordan next month as they prepare for their World Cup qualifier against the UAE. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Complete Windscreens, the trusted South Australian name for car window tinting in Adelaide for over 40 years.
At Eden Hills, there's a smash, Shepherds Hill Road at Wade Street. Northfield, burst water main, Grand Junction Road near Fosters Road and Noarlunga Centre. Twisted traffic light, Beach Road near Goldsmith Drive. Tatterchilla, works causing delays in both directions on Main South Road near Malpas Road, speeds at 40, with cameras Salisbury Highway, Mawson Lakes and Kester's Road at Para Hills. Double vaxxed isn't fully vaxxed, and a third shot is your best shot of not catching COVID this winter. Book your third COVID shot at fullyvaxxed.sa.gov.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Get the Toyota Forklift Advantage. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Clear tonight, a low of 10, partly cloudy tomorrow 21, Thursday cloudy 20 and Friday much the same, a top of 22. Right now it's 18 degrees. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News Tonight.
A man in court for indecently assaulting a schoolgirl on an Adelaide bus. The ferocious fire that destroyed a family's haven. How this year's NAPLAN will test the impact of COVID on our kids. The frail Queen to miss another key ceremony. And see the bizarre fish discovered in the deep. See the full story on 9 News tonight at 6.
Centennial Park empowers you with information to help choose how you'll be remembered. Decisions are difficult in times of loss. Pre-planning provides clarity and peace of mind for you and your loved ones. Meaningful funeral services reflect a life lived in beautiful spaces, with modern function rooms and quality catering also on offer. Burials, cremations and memorials are tailored to celebrate your life. We help you understand your choices. Choose how you'll be remembered with Centennial Park.
Dreaming of a new bathroom or kitchen? Get the best brands and the latest trends at Adelaide Bathroom and Kitchen Supplies. The ABK Supplies showroom has just been renovated to showcase a range of Australian-made customisable vanities. Brands like ADP, Timberline, Marquee and more, including imported options. With so many choices for cabinet colours, tops and basins, your kitchen or bathroom will be stylish and timeless. Browse the new displays at ABK, Adelaide Bathroom and Kitchen Supplies, Lower North East Road, opposite Durnan Court Village.
This is Rowey's Sports Show. Stephen Rowe and Lee Forrest.
7 minutes after 5, big hour on the way. One sporting moment, if you know it, could win you $250 thanks to the Barreau Hotel Group. That's coming up before 6. Our swimming championships will be here in Adelaide soon from mid-May. Maddie Wilson, one of our star swimmers, to join us. And a lot of people are talking about the coach's spray. You've got to have some real sort of coolions to walk into an opposition change room and spray the lot. Luckily, we've got one that does that.
Keith, I was wondering, when you play a G, do you use the 3 fingers like that, or do you bar across the 3rd fret?
Depends on where I am in the song, man.
Graham Studley Corns.
Be careful what you wish for, Stud.
I think that one's run its race.
Yeah.
But we can get rid of that one, can't we?
Right, we'll find you a new one.
Find a new one.
Well, David Noble apologised to his players for his spray after their round 3 loss. Where's my apology?
Did I spray you?
No, you never did. You were good.
I can't remember.
You were good.
I can't remember, and I can't remember getting sprayed as an individual. I can remember I remember the team being, sat down and the coach going,
Bunter.
because we hadn't done something right, but it would never got down to individual.
I remember one game against West Coast in the first year. We got absolutely smoked, and you've come in, and we didn't have another room to go into for you to debrief the game, and we're all sitting around our lockers. You went around us individually, but if I remember correctly, it was, look, you could have done this better, or why did you do that? It wasn't a berating. Now I've had them.
Yeah, look,
I can't remember you ever doing that.
Well, there's two.
Okay, give it to us.
There was the St Kilda game last round of towards the end of 1994.
Okay,
and we were, we'd had a tough last half of the season, and I'd had this meeting with Bob Hammond. We were trying to work out how to make things a bit easier, take the pressure off the guys, and he'd had a chat. He'd had a meeting with Chris McDermott, and Chris had said, "Look, I'm not as I haven't been as tough on the guys as I had previously been. Obviously, we're trying to get through the tough times. I was probably nursing them rather than driving them." And Bob, as he related to me, said to Chris, "Well, if he's going to tear strips off blokes, you and Tony are going to have to cop it."
Yeah. So you picked the big dog in the house straight off the bat.
That's what Bob had relayed back to me, and Bob said, "Well, Chris said I can handle that." Well, our first half was disgraceful. Well, sorry, it wasn't disgraceful, but Chris hadn't had a good one.
Yep.
And Tony was doing the running around,
around the back.
Which
so the planets lined up.
Which shouldn't detract from him being good. His legacy as a good player, but
he was a great player.
So obviously I've seen those two, and I've really torn into them. I've torn into Chris and I've torn into Tony, and it did have some reaction because we actually drew the game when we probably should have won it, but it took Chris a long time to get over it. Tony was good. He was pretty, when I went up after the game and had a chat, he was fine with it. But Chris took a long time to get over. He took it personally, and I probably
were you personal in your message?
No, I just said, look, how can I expect the younger players to do this if you're not prepared to do it? Tony was a lot more personal, to be quite frank, but it took a long time, and I sort of regret it. I don't know whether they actually work, and I think they bruise. The players are bruised by them. I can remember a teacher in grade 4 giving me what I thought was an unjustified bollocking, and I've never forgot it, and I've never really
from grade 4.
From grade 4,
that did scar you.
Well, it did, because he was such a mean-spirited gentleman. I remember but
you clearly didn't like or respect him, so that's why it hurts more.
Well, what really?
You respect the player.
We used to have report cards, and I'd finished top of the class in grade 4 on Glenelg Primary.
Well, how good are you?
Yeah, I know.
Tell us how good you are.
It went downhill after that.
Oh, jeez.
And I remember Paul Manuel finished. He was second, but anyway, Mr. Hareem wasn't impressed with my effort.
You named them all. The kid that sat next to you and the teacher.
Cheerio to the Hareem family who are listening.
Yeah.
Crow's problems. What was exposed, but more so, how easily are they fixed, then?
Not that easily. Obviously, the bit that starts in the midfield, and Riley O'Brien didn't have a good game. He's had a couple of quiet ones now. I heard you going on this morning about that he maybe has to be dropped, but I don't know whether there's an easy fix to that. But I can't understand how they get beaten so comprehensively in the midfield when you've got a chance to study and prepare, and there's all sorts of strategies you can use. So it starts there, the clearances. They're lacking skills and finesse.
Yep.
I mean, who is a really skillful player?
There's two.
There's a couple. Jordan Dawson's kicking is good.
And Taylor Walker.
And when he gets the ball in his hand, but you got to get it. You got to get it to him. The defence is going back into their shells. In the previous wins, the defence was on the front foot. They were attacking. They weren't reactive. They were proactive. And then look, the defence now looks like they're too scared of making a mistake. They're second to the ball. They're not going forward as they should. And the midfield is undersized. Now,
Do you believe in the big-bodied midfielder?
Well, this is
Bont, a Danger, a Martin.
There's a myth about the big-bodied midfielder that it's,
a myth.
There's a myth
that
it's a new phenomenon in the modern game. But the I'm going to throw some names at you: Blight, Ebert, Curley, Robran, Marker, Carman. All midfielders.
Yeah, there you go.
But we were regarded...
You ruck rode for a period.
But they
Pavlich won an All-Australian as a midfielder.
They called them ruck rovers.
Ruck rovers.
When they really were... Blight, Ebert, Blight, Ebert, Marker were midfielders. Dipper, Robert Dipper Domenico, James Hurd, Nathan Buckley, Jimmy Bartell.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a new phenomenon. Why can't the Crows find? I can't claim credit for that. David Jarvis,
that is very good.
Came up with
that's okay.
But. Surely, I mean, do you think...
Well, they've recruited one. His name's Jordan Dawson. He started in the midfield, but he's gone back to the back.
He kicks out all the time.
No.
He's a good kick. But he's not such a big-bodied midfielder, but he's taller and he's...
You've got to recruit it, don't you?
He's not Fife. He's not Martin. He's not Bontempelli. He's not Wines. He's not Cripps. He's not Elliot Yeo.
No.
Why can't the Crows find these players?
Well, they had one, Hugh Greenwood, and let him go.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, so the midfielders
undersized. Campbell let him go.
Look, they're going to win games when they can surpass the opposition with their intensity, their pressure, and their desperation.
Because they're scraggers.
But when they're scraggers, which is what he wants. I mean, when the coach doesn't have quite the talent, you drag the other team down to and that's probably what's happened in the wins that they've had. I don't have a problem. This is not a criticism.
No.
But it's a credit to them that he can get that sort of effort from players like that. But who can come into that? Who can come into that midfield and give them a presence like Cripps, like Wines, like Martin, like Fife? You know, who?
No one on their list.
Like we keep saying, look, Tom Doedee. When are they going to try him in the midfield?
Well, might be time to do that.
But you don't know the player well enough unless you coach them. But it's to say the big midfielder is a modern phenomenon.
I like it.
Wrong.
I like it.
Can I just play devil's advocate though?
Oh, what? Carlton supporter?
Oh, what? No. How many games did you play? That's right. Get that one out.
Tell us how good you are.
Yeah.
Marcus Bontempelli's 6'4".
Yeah.
Peter Carey was 6'4".
Understand
Patrick Cripps is 6'5". They're just bigger than they were in the past. Russell was 6 foot.
Yeah, they are, but they were still in that
era. They were big.
In that era,
the rest of us were 5'9".
But you're saying they're super big now.
Well,
6'5" is a midfielder
because the younger generation is taller and is bigger. So you just, I mean, in our Blighty was a big midfielder. You know, Barassi, Curley, Teddy Whitten played in midfield, and they could have played key positions in that.
Knuckles was a ruckman. Leaf.
Malcolm Blight's 6 foot.
Yeah.
Patrick Cripps is taller than John Nichols.
Yeah, but because this generation,
the generation's gotten bigger and softer.
I'm just sticking up for the modern day midfielder.
That's all right.
The modern day, it's not a new phenomenon.
Okay. Yeah, just push the buttons, dude.
Sorry about that. I will just go back in my box now.
Who are you?
Who asked him?
Well, fancy.
I'm going to do the behind closed doors. So pretend I'm KG. A port back.
They're on their way. They're on their way, but this is a danger game.
Kangaroos.
The Kangaroos. Now with all the sort of controversy about them this week, you can't judge teams on performances in Perth. Probably poor Perth and Brisbane, and their worst performances have been in Perth and in
they only kicked 3 goals
and in Brisbane. So, but I think you disregard that. So they're going to come out
in Hobart.
Port Adelaide have to go to Melbourne, then they have to go to
Hobart.
So it's not a direct flight.
It's going to be cold.
It's going to be because conditions are different. They'll be feeling nice and warm and fuzzy about where they are. North will come out, and Port Adelaide should win. But this is not an easy game. What are they going to do with their forwards if Charlie Dixon comes back?
I'm asking you that. Don't ask me. I think Charlie misses out.
Charlie, when he's fit, comes back.
Absolutely, he does.
But they can't fiddle around with the four tall forwards like they tried to last year.
Phillison, Marshall, Georgiadis.
Yeah, well, obviously, Finlayson probably goes out. He's
Okay.
last one in,
First one out.
First one out. I mean, and look, he's been great for them. He really's come in. He's given them an option there. He competes. He takes marks. He takes unlikely marks. Really, he doesn't crash packs, but he gets his hands on the ball, and he's a pretty good kick. He hasn't always kicked well this year, but he's a pretty good kick, and he's converting. So, but I think when Charlie comes back, and he probably shouldn't come back until he's
100%
ready.
fit. Well, the state game, I heard Ken speak about this, the state game this week, so he's had one game, he won't play this week, and then Port play that week and the next week, then they've got the bye.
Well, he's got a couple of weeks. He needs a couple of. All he needs is a couple of games under his belt. He pulled up sore this week after 3 quarters. I'd say have the break, train him hard.
Yep.
They'll train him hard. Play 2 games at least, certainly 1.
Well, we'll ask him Friday on that. Can you remember that game that Crows played round 8 in Hobart in 2017? It was 10 goals, 4 to no score.
I can. Yeah.
So you're thinking that might happen.
Well,
we need to ring Darren Lehman and see if he wants to sit in the box with Ken Hinkley, because that was the reason it was 10 for...
Went a bit pear-shaped, that.
Went a bit pear-shaped.
Lots of feedback for Graham Corns on the text message. We're going to get to those right after the break, plus more with Cornsy. His thoughts on the week in sport. First, let's check the traffic for your drive home. And this is all thanks to Edwardstown Mazda. You can take advantage of the end of financial year deals by seeing the great team at Edwardstown Mazda.
At Eden Hills, look out for a smash on Shepherds Hill Road at Wade Street. Northfield burst water main there, Grand Junction Road near Foster's Road, and twisted traffic lights, one at Noarlunga Centre, Beach Road near Goldsmith Drive, and another one at Cavan Port Wakefield Road near Churchill Road. Cameras, Main North Road, Para Hills West, and Whites Road at Paralawi. After a new or demo Kia, head to SA's #1 Kia dealership, Wayne Phillips Kia, awarded SA's Dealership of the Year for the 7th year in a row. Wayne Phillips Kia, Ranella. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Port Adelaide legend and larrikin Tim Ginniver joins Rowey's Sports Show each week thanks to the Lakes Hotel.
It's a beauty!
See every AFL game live and loud at the amazing sports bar in the Lakes Hotel, West Lakes.
Well, time to find out what is making news in the Channel 7 newsroom as we welcome Jane Doyle to the show. And Jane, you've got shocking footage of a schoolyard attack.
Indeed, a Year 11 student has come under attack at a regional high school. It was all filmed. Police are investigating. $1 million house fire at the holiday home of one of South Australia's best-known doctors. The Health Minister has made a surprise visit to the Lyle McEwen to check for himself on the facilities as people wait to be seen at the ED. An emotion-racked triple fatality is to have a court sequel next month. Long COVID clinics are to be established across Adelaide. Now in sports, some tough new selection issues or problems looming for both local AFL clubs. The door is open for a star AFL draftee to return to Adelaide. There'll be a couple of clubs very interested in that. And a couple of fast bowlers from the Strikers have been announced as Redbacks in the Redback squad for the coming cricket season. We'll have all the details tonight at 6 in 7 News. Look forward to your company then.
Thank you, Jane. Jane Doyle and all the team at Channel 7. There's only one choice, 7 News, tonight at 6.
Pay back Liberal and Labor's $1 trillion of debt with the UAP's 15% iron ore export licence on Asian manufacturing. Vote 1, United Australia Party.
Authorised by Clive Palmer for the United Australia Party, Brisbane.
Invoices.
Hooray!
But sent instantly.
Hooray!
Keeping track of payments.
What?
But managing them online instead.
What?
With Xero, it's business but better. Start your free 30-day trial at xero.com.
The passing of someone close places unique stress on family and friends. At this time, Farrell and O'Neill Funerals are here to provide reassurance and peace of mind. Farrell and O'Neill offer creative guidance and advice to tailor a service that best honours your loved one. Whether a large gathering or a small, intimate service, Farrell and O'Neill share their generations of experience in tailoring a unique and meaningful farewell. Proudly SA family-owned and operated, because it's personal.
A cure for diabetes. Imagine if it was right there on the street and you walked past it. Maybe you already have. If you're on North Terrace today, you might have walked by SAMRI, the cheese grater. Inside, the brightest minds from around the globe are striving to beat the biggest health challenges we're all facing, like diabetes, Alzheimer's, cancer, and preterm birth. The world's biggest breakthroughs might be happening right here, right now. SAMRI. Get into it at samri.org.au.
Progress has been made to connect Australia's healthcare system. Now everyone can choose to get an electronic prescription, have a consultation with a doctor from home, and use My Health Record to view your COVID-19 dashboard, including boosters and test results. And there's more to come, connecting Australia to a healthier future and you to better healthcare. Find out more at digitalhealth.gov.au.
Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra. Spoken by Dr. Andrew Rochford.
In the last 30 years, Labor governments on average delivered higher interest rates, higher unemployment, higher power prices, and not a single balanced budget. A strong economy? It won't be easy under Albanese. Authorised by Ahurst Liberal, Canberra.
Walker Crash Repairs. For easy insurance repairs on your caravan. Get it fixed right with Walker Crash Repairs.
This is Rowey's Sport Show.
23 minutes after 5. We'd be on air, Rowey.
Do those questions.
Yeah, I will. Thank you for that. Hey, do you or your kids play footy? That's right. See the red light? We're on. Conzi's just enjoying the riff. You can win your team $2,000 cash. Go on, sing it.
Go on, there.
I don't know.
No, go on, just do it.
I need to record it.
Oh, here we go.
Right now, baby, it's all right. That's enough.
A bit of free.
Everyone turned off.
You wish you could sing, don't you?
I wish I could sing.
Yeah, I know. I can see it.
If you want to win $2,000 and some share and footies, head to 5AA.com.au. Thanks to the Hyundai Staria Load, the only van with the MCAT 5-star and platinum safety ratings, 5AA. So if your kids play footy, $2,000. A couple of footies could be yours.
Brilliant.
Thanks to Sharon.
A couple of texts, Leaf.
Lot for Graham. This one from Bill at Glenelg. Cornsey, with the SNFL bye this weekend, why wouldn't Port and the Crows reserve sides play a trial against each other?
Well, what an excellent suggestion. I don't know. Surely they've examined it. Surely they would have explored that option. Would they not have? I mean, would they have enough players?
Well, here's the thing. There's no top-up that made our state team.
Yeah.
We've announced that yesterday, and we play on the weekend. There's Crows and Port players that are Crows and Port's players. They're on their AFL list. Would need to have a gallop.
Where are the top-up players coming from, actually?
Just local leagues and that. Some of them have got players that have ex-AFL that have come back.
They may want to go back and play in their local comp, but it's an excellent idea.
Surely. We might follow that up tomorrow, Lee.
Good idea.
That's a great idea.
This one from Jared, who says Milan Thaletic was a midfielder ruck rover for Torrens and Port, 6'3", big build, mid-80s.
He certainly was, but he also played centre-half forward. Okay. And I've got this horrible memory. I was playing centre-half back for Glenelg, Footy Park, Glenelg playing Port Adelaide. That's after he moved from Torrens. He kicked 4 goals in the first 10 minutes. He's centre-half forward, I'm centre-half back. 4 goals in 10 minutes.
Wow.
So you've worked that out. He's going to kick 12 goals from centre-half. I was moved off him.
He had Fred Fanning written about him.
That'll do it.
Good on you, Milan.
This one said, Cornsey, here's why Riley O'Brien is fatigued. In 2022, he's competed in 605 ruck contests. That is number 1 in the AFL. 21 more than Witts and 150 more than Draper, who's third.
Wow, he probably takes it on himself and says, "Look, I can do it." When really he needs to have a rest or a break.
I was driving home yesterday, and I loved Malcolm Blight yesterday. He came on. He come on with solutions. He didn't say what happened and what not. Yeah. He said he wouldn't drop O'Brien. No. He would put Strawn and O'Brien in the same team, and they'll work it out when one of them goes forward. One of them will mark and kick a goal. I don't mind that. The two ruckmen.
Well, it's interesting. Carlton getting away with it. Port Adelaide getting away. Carlton getting away with it with Jack Silvani. Port Adelaide getting away with it with Sam Powell-Pepper as a ruckman.
Getting away with it's the key word. Well, I think when Lycett's back, they'll go with Lycett and Mays.
Yeah, it's an interesting view. You'd never ever Hayes. You'd never dream of putting up Sam Powell-Pepper, but they're working. I mean, what really frustrated me, like Jack Silvani was winning the clearances against
Riley O'Brien. One time, Riley fell over.
He won the hit out and the clearance on one of the possessions there. And Quentin wants to leave you with a big question. Stud.
Yeah. Stud.
Where are the Crows compared to the Suns?
Ooh.
If you're Jack Lukosius, which one are you picking?
Ooh.
Well, you might want to come home. It depends on contract and offers. The Crows never offer overs, and they're never going to come up with big dollars. But if you're talking about a list at the moment, the GWS are much more advanced. They've had all of those early draft picks. They've got 4 or 5 years under their belt now. Yep. They should have done a lot better
in
the time that they've been being competitive. They've been competitive, but they should be a lot better, the Suns.
And Gold Coast, do you think? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that is the Gold Coast.
That is the Gold Coast.
One final word before you go on the Collingwood saga, how that's all playing out.
Yeah, well,
Heritia Lulumba. What in God's name does he want, this lad?
I'm not sure what he wants, because he's laid down the gauntlet to Nathan Buckley, saying, "I'm going to release all my, I've taped all our conversations." Well, Nathan Buckley's called his bluff. He said, "Bluff,
release them."
He said, "Release them. It's just please release them." However, I've got to say, some of his complaints must be valid. I mean, that issue of the pornographic photograph that was used in a team meeting or a motivational, as it was described to me.
Has it been verified?
I don't
Has
know.
anyone denied it happened?
No one's denied it happened, but I haven't seen it. But as it's been described to me, if it was used in a team meeting with young players, it's an absolute disgrace. I mean, there would be no excuse for it. I know, blokes get around blokes and they can, talk all sorts of
So this was sexually implicit, was it?
Yeah, but
explicit.
Explicit.
What did I say?
Implicit.
Having a stinker.
Explicit. Caroline Wilson on Footy Classified last night, said that she has not had one person come and say that it didn't happen.
Okay.
No one's confirming or denying.
Well, where's mate Scoop? You do on all of this. If this was a Crows player, God, it'd be everywhere.
What we do need, I mean, as I said, as the photograph was described to me, I cannot imagine why or how it was used, but there has to be some context to it. There has to be someone has to explain that. But nevertheless, I don't know what he wants. What does he want?
I don't know. That's the $1 million question. Maybe he went after Eddie. Eddie's gone. He now wants to get after.
Well, Bucks is.
Yeah, but he's in the media. He's got a voice. He wants to ruin people.
Bucks isn't shying away from.
No, he said, "I can put my head on the pillow at night." Yeah. And I tell you what, I'd back Bucks in 1 million miles an hour with his cred.
Kane stood Heritia, or Harry as he was then. He said he was a really beaut bloke to stand. I mean, he wasn't a an aggressive, obnoxious opponent. He was a really good bloke to stand.
Well, he's scorned at the moment, isn't he?
No, well, I just got scorned. I mean, you've just got to.
Well, what would you call it? Angry.
He's angry.
A vendetta.
Well, he feels
hatred,
feels scorn, but I think there has to be some sort of mediation. He doesn't seem prepared to enter into mediation. There has to be a resolve to it, surely.
But he doesn't even live in Australia.
Well, it doesn't matter where he lives. I mean, if he's going to, he has to stop. They have to resolve the issues that he has.
Okay. Hey, Stud, thank you very much.
Thank you, Graham.
Thanks for having me.
Give us a spray on the way out of the ad break.
Come on. Paul Rogers just called in, wants you to audition one more time.
No, I am not doing that.
Blakey's listening.
No.
For free, the reunion
she was
featuring Cornsey on
in
guitar.
my room.
Come on.
No, I'm not going to do it.
Don't get
Paul
bashful.
Rogers is a legend. Who can compete with that?
Well,
it's like Roger Daltrey.
You sing Rolling Stones songs.
Yeah, well, Mick Jagger hasn't quite got the register this guy's got.
Okay. All right. Well done, Stud. Love your work.
Graham Collins, everyone.
5AA Breakfast.
I left my car in Mailstone over the weekend because I hired a ute to do some garden work, and it wasn't in front of anyone's house. It wasn't even near anyone's house. It was in like a semi-industrial area just off Marion Road. Some halfwit has gone the full length of my car, brand new Kluger, and keyed it, and really deep.
Informing Adelaide.
What possesses somebody to do that?
Keying cars feels like a gateway crime.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
6 a.m. weekdays on 5AA. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Good afternoon, I'm Michaela Kamarek. Shocking footage has emerged of a 16-year-old girl being assaulted by another student at an SA high school. Labor is being accused of making policy on the run after it signalled support for a wage hike in line with the current cost of living. Detectives are searching for answers after the body of a scuba diver and more than 50 kilograms of cocaine washed up in a Newcastle shipping port, and two-time All-Australian Gemma Houghton is Port's latest AFLW recruit. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Addington Hill smash on Shepherd's Hill Road at Wade Street. Northfield burst waterway there, Grand Junction Road near Foster's Road. Noarlunga Centre, twisted traffic light on Beach Road near Goldsmith Drive, and Cavan also a twisted traffic light there, Port Wakefield Road near Churchill Road. Busy South Road near Anzac Highway with cameras Bethel Road Kapunta, Cavan Road Dry Creek. The federal election is on Saturday, May 21st. If you're unable to make it to a polling place on election day, you may be eligible to vote early. Learn more at aec.gov.au/early. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Clear tonight, a low of 10. Cloudy tomorrow, 21. Right now it's 17 degrees. More news at 6 o'clock and as it happens on 5AA.
Hi, Nick Xenophon here. This election, you can vote differently. The green ballot paper is where you choose who forms government. The white ballot paper, where I'll be, is for the Senate, where I will stand up for South Australia because I give a damn. Vote 1 in Box O above the line on the white ballot paper to vote for me. Box O is just next to the Greens. Give me a go. Vote 1, Box O. Authorised by Nick Xenophon Paradise.
Hi, I'm Craig Kirkwood from Goldsborough Financial Services. I'm passionate about helping people understand how important life insurance is as part of a long-term financial planning strategy. I've helped many of our clients successfully claim against their policies to help protect their family or business. I can explain the different types of products available to you and the best way to structure your policies. See our website, then come and see us. We're here for your peace of mind. Goldsborough, for all your tomorrows. Goldsborough Financial Services, AFSL number 225330.
I can't believe I'm saying this. Buy urban bathrooms and kitchens may not be for everyone. Oh, look, if you're happy with a flat-pack kitchen, things not lining up and not looking like you thought it might, that's okay. And if millimetre-perfect craftsmanship and service of the highest standard is not your thing, that's okay too. But if it is, buyurban.com.au, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
Were you a fan of The Seekers? Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons? Neil Sedaka, the Everly Brothers, or the Bee Gees? Well, don't miss the Robertson Brothers Variety Show. It's a live 1960s variety TV show with special guest Simon Brooke McLaughlin from the Jersey Boys. The Robertson Brothers Variety Show. Tickets on sale now.
Her Majesty's Theatre, Thursday, May 12. Tickets at the venue.
G'day, it's Soda here. Now, if you're a tradie or a courier, you know every second counts. So why waste time waiting around when you can get on with it behind the wheel of a Staria Load, Hyundai's new work van? It's a game changer. The perfect office on wheels. A spacious and sophisticated workspace that combines efficiency, space, and class-leading safety tech. There are work vehicles, and then there's the Hyundai Staria Load. Ready to drive away right now at your local Hyundai dealer.
It's value the Australian way at Coles with great fresh specials this week. Like juicy Imperial mandarins, 100% Aussie and just $2.90 a kilo. This week at Coles. Offer ends Thursday.
There are some things in SA that are better off together, like the Popeye and the Torrens, Fritz and Sauce, the Mall's Balls. But if you're after the perfect pair, you can't go past your seniors card paired with a National Pharmacies membership. Your seniors card entitles you to an exclusive National Pharmacies membership offer, and you'll benefit with up to 70% off prescription medication, 20% off prescription glasses and sunnies, and much more. So talk to our friendly team at National Pharmacies and join the community that cares for yours.
Scraped your caravan? Walker Crash Repairs, an RAA-approved caravan crash repairer.
This is Rowey's Sports Show.
24 minutes to 6. We'll get to your calls very shortly. Maddie Wilson, not too far away, our Olympic swimming star, with the trials coming to Adelaide from May 18. Cornsey mentioned Heritier Lumumba. He has released, just in the last couple of minutes, some audio with Nathan Buckley, so we'll bring you that as well very shortly.
Well, the AFL story today, round 3, Lions smashed North by 108 points. Kangaroos coach David Noble gave the team an almighty spray. Some of them apparently cried, some were a little bit taken aback. Others, like Jack Zeeble, the skipper, said, "What are you all sookie-la-laing about?" So are the millennials able to copper spray? Is it old school? Is it old-fashioned? Should we still do it?
Prehistoric.
We thought we'd set it up, a couple of prehistoric dinosaurs like me. Here's Ronald Dale Barassi.
Daryl, you are a I'll tell you why. You're bloody not switched on properly. Keith, you done a typical bloody thing, you could have run and intercepted that first goal, and you probably don't even know what I'm talking about, do you? That's bloody right. Now, if you both think I'm stirred up, you're bloody right.
Poor old Daryl copping it from the great Ron Barassi.
He's on the podium, so we thought we'd open up the lines and look at big sprays. Let's go to Collinswood. Gary?
G'day, guys. How are you?
You got a spray for us?
Yeah, I won't mention the coach or the club, but it was back in 1971-72. The coach I had, he could give a very good colourful spray. He just didn't go off at Pete. It was, if you'd done something wrong, he sort of gave you a warning, but then the second time he'd let you have it or the team have it. And we were under 11s, and you could hear his spray from 50 metres away. But you know what? Every player that played in that team, they all went back the next year. Most of us knew that we'd played bad. We accepted it. That was at our age,
Exactly right.
But the thing is, I seen a guy that I played was in my team. I seen him about 3 years ago, and he was just talking about football. He's got sons now, and he said, "I can't stand it." He said, the coach we had, he said, he toughened us up. I know it's a different time, but I got into trouble with my dad sometimes, but I deserved it. No, I never. It was just what it is. It was just. It's just funny looking back now when if you said what happened in our day, that under 11s people would be be mortified. But we all come back and played. We all loved him.
Well done. Didn't scar you, Gary. Great story. Oh, just remembering while Gary was talking there, similar, I coached Nords under 17s when I retired in 97 for the next 5 years. And I remember Macca brought a beautiful Indigenous family over from Darwin because the kid was going to board out at Norwood and he was going to play in the 17s that next year. So Macca brought him out to a quarter-time huddle. And apparently the kid didn't come back.
Really? Oh, boy.
Not funny.
No.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't happen today. I mean,
No.
I'm thinking
Well, that would have been 1998.
My daughter plays under 11s netball.
Mm.
You're not spraying
Not proud
under
of
11s now.
Might have had a few colourful words in there.
That's not good.
Hello, Rosemary from Ullabury.
Hello, Stephen and Lee. I've got to disagree with what you've all been saying about the spray. And I mean, I'm 70-odd too, older than you, used to tough times and things like this. But I think in today's society, it is not a millennium group. It is actually men being human now in this day and age. I can remember my son being told, boys don't cry. Now, if you have a look at all the trouble in like abuse, and also all the footballers now having time out for mental stress, it is different, and particularly with COVID, that kind of abuse now teaches people to come back with abuse or with something as bad. And I just think you get better out of people nowadays. I've changed my mind on things. You can get better out of people by encouragement or taking them aside and showing them, not telling them, showing them what they could have done better. And it just breaks my heart. My 11-year-old grandson the other day was in he's made the team for the Sapsalsa cross country. No, he's never done cross country. And it was Thursday night, after raining and everything, they got out there after class, cold, and had to run for 5K. Now, he's very slim, and his heart rate was so high, he got to the end of it. He had to stitch after the third round because of the cold. And he finished it, got to the end and collapsed on the ground. Now, he got up, that's how bad and I said, why did you continue? He said, Nan, I just wanted to finish.
Yeah, well done. A little bit of adversity doesn't hurt a kid, I don't reckon, Rosemary, but well done, because I need to get with that program more. People mirror people's behaviours. I mean, we've always been taught here, Leith, what you throw out will come back.
Correct.
So that's a mirroring. And if you're going to be abusive and yell, that's going to be reflective back on the kids. I'm not saying that I'm old school, that tough love and knocking someone's ego and personality and swearing and being brutal, and I've never done that.
No.
I'm not advocating that, Rosemary. Do I need to get better? Probably. Am I too old school? Maybe. But I don't apologise for that. Hello, Tony.
Yeah, g'day, guys. Just in regard to that last call, before I say what I wanted to, a good coach is one who can read the room in terms of how you can speak to certain players and how that's different to speak to other players. I mean, they just respond differently. That's just the way it is. And, you know, I've played footy too. Some players need to be spoken to differently to others, and a good coach will read it. Now, the point I'm making is Matt Crouch. If Matt Crouch is relegated back to Sandfeld to work on his game because the number of possessions he backs up aren't hurting the opposition, how is it that we have other players who remain in the team whose possessions that they rack up aren't hurting the opposition, i.e. Ben Keys gets lots of the ball, he doesn't hurt the opposition. Harry Schonberg is still developing his craft, but he doesn't hurt the opposition. Those two guys in particular in the midfield are part of, I think, a reason why our forwards can't get hit in the forward 50 because they can't hit targets. That is a problem. That's not the only problem, but it is a clear problem when we have a midfield that can't lower their eyes and hit their moving forward 50 targets. So if one goes back and you set a precedent to say, go back and work on your craft, but then you hold others in and you don't send them back to work on their craft, what does that do to team function and team thought and team process?
Oh, I'm sure, Tony, that Matty Nix has spoken to Harry. Harry went back, and he needs to work on his game, and he will. He's certainly spoken to Keesey. I see every possession he has now, how careful he is with ball in hand, either handballing and kicking. And I guess as long as the communication between the coaches to the players and then onto the team is such, well, then you'll carry them and you'll be able to put up. You can't put everyone back to develop. Someone had to go back. It was a bloody tough call for Matt Crouch, but in the end it's probably the right call, and he will. He did the right thing. He went back, got 36. 24 of them were handballs. So he can work on his craft, and when he does, he'll come back in. And again, it was great to hear Blighty on the way home. Again, I loved him yesterday because he didn't knock the team as I did. He didn't say he's out, he's out, he's out. Not that I did that, but I didn't have any solutions. He came up with solutions. One of his solutions was Matt Crouch went back. He did what he did. He comes back in this week. And rather than Haitley caravanning the best midfielder, Matt Crouch will. I love his left field thinking.
Yeah, it's good.
Now, they're probably not going to do that, but he had solutions. I love solutions. I'm a part of the problem, Leith.
Malcolm.
Not the solution.
It's the man with the no.
He is the greatest. Hello, Julian.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Yeah, very good. You want to talk about the cricket?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch base quickly with Saka. Last year they went to do the merger, and I think a lot of clubs and people weren't really interested. This year, putting up the split division, I think, is a good idea. And I know there was a comment about Stokes that he hit this massive score. But just to sort of give you a quick idea, I just quickly looked at some of the players that played for my club in Nottingham. People like Dan Christensen, James Patterson are both. Dan Christensen's still there, James Patterson's still playing. Alex Hales, I mean, he's got a brilliant one day in 2020. Sam Patel, Rashid Khan, Jofra Archer, Ian Morgan, Mitchell Marsh, Marcus Lapachet. These guys are still playing in Division 2. So, potentially, it won't affect clubs as long as you do the right thing. Of course, if you sit on your laurels and think it's going to happen, you might just end up being bottom of Division 2 all the time. But if you work hard, it does it. And the other one is looking across to the football. You look at the National League, which is the 5th league down, and how many Football League clubs are playing in that division because they can't get back up into League 2 because it's so tough. So it just shows if you do it right, you'll have the success.
Fantastic call, Julian. And there is a big part of me that loves promotion relegation, and I think one day in the AFL that will happen.
Yeah.
I can see it. You get a Tasmanian team, you get a Northern Territory team. There's going to be another team, on the eastern coast, Sydney or Upper Queensland. WA, there's 3.5 million people there. They'll get a third team. We may one day get a third team. I quite like the promotion relegation. Julian, great call. Thanks for sharing that knowledge.
End of the day, we have to do something to fix South Australian cricket, and that's why Mr. Cricket, Mike Hussey, was brought into the fold to try and come up with some solutions, and we'll see. We'll see if it works. We'll see if the strong teams stay strong and the others, because you don't want the English Premier League. You don't want 4 teams that can win and everyone else just battling to not get relegated.
That review was 2 years ago. It's taken a while to implement
It has taken a while. Hey, for Western Hospital, they provide the type of quality care you deserve. westernhospital.com.au. Injury reports for Port Adelaide and the Crows. Have a look at the Crows list. They've only got Rory Sloane and Paul Seedsman on the list.
Well, that's correct. So Rory Sloane with his knee, good season with good news with that. We'll speak to Rory Thursday. He's had his brace taken off, which means he may be able to drive. We may see him in here. Paul Seedsman, for me, concussion ongoing. If he's not back now, I'm fearful for his short-term or long-term future. And that is such a shame because he had his best AFL season last year. He's getting migraines. Yeah. He has to walk around, in daylight with glasses on. I hope you get well, Seed. You're a ripper.
Well, he was borderline All-Australian, wasn't he, last year? So Lockie Murphy cleared of serious damage, so he's right to go. Riley, we know, with the health and safety protocols. Brodie Smith and Ned McHenry, both available after the concussion. And as we know, Sloaney is out of the knee brace, so that is good news. At Port Adelaide, they've got a few. So Miles Bergman is still an assessment with the virus. Riley Bonner has the ankle. He's out for 3 to 4 weeks, which is not great for him. Orazio is an assess. Scotty Lycett still 10 to 11 away. Trent McKenzie 4 to 6. Josh Sim with a groin TBC.
The other news, Kane Farrell back from health and safety, and I feel for Trent Dumont. He's found a spot in Port's team. Guess who they play this week? North Melbourne, his old team. So Trent Dumont's out with the COVID protocols. And Miles Bergman's another one. I don't know whether you just mentioned him. He's been out for 3.
Yeah.
Bass said yesterday he may very well have been in hospital.
That's right.
With his
David Koch said it too.
Rate. Well,
some of the COVID and influenza A. So we hope Miles is okay because that is a long time to be out with the virus. Thanks again to Western Hospital. No private health insurance but need a procedure. Western Hospital can provide you with a competitive quote. A little bit to get to before we wrap up at 6. Our footy league is back. 5AA's Goal of the Week is back too. Get on our Facebook page and vote for the Goal of the Week for round 5. The most reactions score themselves a $50 voucher from our mates at Sip and Save. There's some good snags. I watched them earlier this afternoon. Couple from the pocket. Just check out the goal umpire too. Gives a little bit of mayo in one of them. If you're catching up with friends, you can start at Sip and Save.
The 5AA Sports Show Mystery Moments.
This is some sort of finish.
So this is $250.
$250 for Burrows.
Thanks to the Burrows. Even if you lose your win, you'll get a $50 voucher. 8223 0055. Just have a stab.
The 5AA Sports Show Mystery Moments.
This is some sort of finish.
What was the finish? Do you know?
What is the moment?
$250 could be yours. Go to it. 8223 0055. Let's check the traffic. The end of financial year can be ending on a high with Edwardstown Mazda for the unbeatable end of financial year deals.
At Virginia, smash on Anglevale Road near Johns Road. Northfield burst water main there. Grand Junction Road near Foster's Road. Couple of twisted traffic lights to look out for. One at Noarlunga Centre, Beach Road near Goldsmith Drive. Another one at Cavan. That's on Port Wakefield Road near Churchill Road. Busy South Road near Anzac Highway with cameras Kesters Road, Para Hills and Cavan Road at Dry Creek. Statewide Super is now Host Plus, an industry super fund for all Australians run only to benefit its members. That's a plus. Search Compare Host Plus today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Join David and Will each Friday on the 5AA Breakfast Show as they speak to power excitement machine Orazio Fantasia.
Orazio!
Thanks to Rainwise Pools, family owned, building pools in SA for over 15 years. Google Rainwise Pools Adelaide.
This is the sound of Julian's bargain price vacuum with deep express suction. This is the sound of Julian trying to fix his bargain price vacuum, which infuriates him deeply. Yes, this is the sound of bargain regret. When it comes to the important stuff, like insurance, don't risk it. Go to Amy instead. Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by AAI Limited Trading as Amy, read the PDS at amy.com.au. TMD also available.
Get in here. It's Sheeds. We don't have the time to mess around. We can't afford any more downtime, and we need a result. It's about trust, and for hydraulic hose repairs, Ryco 24/7 are the ones. They'll get to you wherever you are. Their vans are on the road with fully qualified repairers, and they are supported by that other great South Australian team, BL Shipway, who I've known for over 30 years.
Call Ryco 24/7 on 133247 or visit ryco247.com.au.
G'day, it's Mark Bickley. Well, it's tax time. The absolute best time to get in touch with your Leader Computers reseller, especially if you run a business. Order and install your new Leader PC before June 30 to get a significant tax deduction, plus amazing pricing from Leader. And with Leader Computers, you're dealing with a true SA company with outstanding local customer support. Live life local. Live life Leader this tax time. Visit leadersystems.com.au to find your closest Leader reseller.
In times of loss, you need Embrace. Making funeral arrangements is never easy, but Deanne Edwards from Embrace Funerals will gently step you through every detail. Embrace truly care about delivering the perfect, personalised funeral for your loved one at an affordable cost. Embrace Funeral Services are created with exceptional care and attention to every detail, tailored perfectly to your family for peace of mind. When funerals need to be perfect, choose Embrace.
I'm Rachel Swift, health specialist, small business owner, volunteer and Liberal candidate for Boothby. I know what's important to you. A strong economy means reduced cost of living and a stronger future. Vote 1 for Rachel Swift in Boothby.
Authorised S. Meldrum, Liberal Adelaide.
What's for dinner? Coles have over 100 easy recipes for you to try. All made with 5 ingredients in 30 minutes or less. Head to coles.com.au right now to find out what's for dinner. That's value the Australian way at Coles.
Introducing the Drive Car of the Year. The all-new Kia Sportage. Awarded for its new turbo engine that gives you progressive performance. The Kia Sportage has a boldly sculpted sportsback design and soft touch leather interior, making it a natural leader. Kia Sportage, the Drive Car of the Year. To find out more, visit kia.com.au or visit your nearest Kia dealer.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Walker Crash Repairs. For easy insurance repairs on your caravan. Get it fixed right with Walker Crash Repairs.
This is Rowey's Sport Show.
6 minutes to 6.
The 5AA Sport Show Mystery Moment.
This is some sort of finish.
Oh, some sort of finish for $250.
Barreau Hotel Group. Hello, James.
How are you, Rowey?
Have a stab.
At the 97 prelim.
Which one?
The Adelaide v Bulldogs.
James, that was the last one.
Oh, shit.
What's the days? That's okay, but that would have won you about 600.
You would have.
You won mystery moment away, James. But we give you a $50 Barreau Hotel Group voucher. Well done.
Thanks, buddy.
mate.
Thank you, James.
Gee, James, he got the last one right.
Now, that is obscure. If we had actually just rolled the same moment with different commentary and just run it again. So instead of Rex and the Heart Pills...
We're not going to do that.
It was that one.
Missed out on $600, James.
Never mind. Tomorrow, $300. Thanks to the Barrows. If you want to get along and just have the perfect meal, head to any of the Barrows, the Albion, the Birkenhead Tavern, the Excelsior, or the beautiful Sundowner in Whyalla.
The Last Shout.
Former Magpie Heritia Luumba, he's got audio of a conversation with his then coach, Nathan Buckley. Now, Bucks has said, do us all a favour, Heritia. Please release your audio to give everything clarity. And let's get this all on the table and get it over and done with. Well, Heritia listened to that advice and he's released one on his socials.
Whether it's been intentionally or unintentionally, I've been unfairly treated in this workplace. I have been. One thing that, I've found really hard, as I said, is how I've been controlled in this environment. Like my opinion has been suppressed. Whenever I give, you asked me, you even said yourself, Nathan, you said, be more demanding, even of our coaches. You gave me a green light. So what do? I take that green light and then I get hit down for it in every way.
So there's a snapshot of what is now 4 minutes out there on social media, interaction with Nathan Buckley, Heritia having his say. It's interesting. He clearly has recorded everything and documented everything, and this is not going away anytime soon.
Firstly, let's hope Heritia mentally is okay. That's our first thought. But I'd love to know what his motivation is. There's got to be an end game to this. Is he after money? Is he wanting to sue someone? Does he want to catch someone out? Does he want someone to be hurt from this, lose their job, lose their career, lose their reputation? I mean, if Heritia is that sad that he's got to do this, and keep hurting people, and he's clearly hurt. I just hope he's getting help.
Yeah. Well, he's clearly aggrieved, but what is the end game? What does he want to get out of it at the end?
Well, let's get to there quick so everyone can move on, Harutia. This is not doing anyone any favours.
We'll find out how that
It's like a soap opera.
plays out. Stay tuned. Sports Day SA on the way. The great Malcolm Blight and David Weldy. John Blake coming up from 7 o'clock. We'll see you tomorrow.
We'll make the first $30,000 paid on a home loan tax deductible each year.